Broncos country, buckle up because we are so close. We are 350 subscribers away from 1,000, and I am not exaggerating when I say this channel is about to blow the doors off. 1,000 subscribers. That is the milestone, that is the mountain we are climbing together, and every single one of you reading this right now is basically a Sherpa carrying me up that mountain. Except instead of oxygen tanks, you're carrying likes and comments. So if you have not smashed that subscribe button yet, do it right now, because the Broncos front office is out here making moves faster than I can refresh my phone, and you do not want to miss a single one of them. Speaking of moves, Denver just did something that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming this week. And it might just be the sneakiest, savviest, most quietly brilliant transaction of this entire offseason. The Denver Broncos have signed safety Taylor Rapp. Yes, that Taylor Rapp. A Super Bowl champion, a former second-round draft pick, a guy that Rams head coach Sean McVay once called one of his favorite players from that entire 2019 draft class. This is a man who has played in 93 career NFL games and started 72 of them. This is not some camp body. This is not a guy they pulled off the street because they needed a warm body for special teams drills. This is a certified, battle-tested, championship ring-wearing NFL veteran, and he just put on the orange and blue. Now here's where the story gets juicy, because Rapp actually worked out for the Broncos last week. And then, nothing happened. Silence. Crickets. The kind of silence that makes fans start refreshing Twitter every 4 minutes wondering if the deal is dead. But then, boom. This week, out of absolutely nowhere, the ink hits the paper and Taylor Rapp is officially a Denver Bronco. And look, in the world of NFL free agency, that kind of delay usually means one of two things. Either the team was doing their homework, checking the medicals, making sure the knee that had him limited to just 6 games last year with the Bills is actually good to go, or Rapp himself was out there shopping around kicking a few tires, seeing if a better offer was waiting on another team's doorstep. Either way, Broncos country, he chose Denver, and honestly, who wouldn't? We've got a rookie sensation running the ball, a receiver room that might be the scariest in football, and a defense that already led the entire NFL in sacks. This safety just signed up for a playoff run, not a rebuild. So let's talk about what this actually means, because I know some of you are sitting there thinking, wait, don't we already have safeties? And yes, Broncos country, you would be correct. Denver's got Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones penciled in as the starters, and everybody around the building loves what Devin Key brings to the table as that steady third option. So where does a Super Bowl champion fit into all of that? Great question. Here's the theory, and it is a spicy one. This might not even be about this year's starting lineup at all. This might be about depth, insurance, and quietly preparing for the future. Brandon Jones is entering the final year of his contract, and if you know anything about how Sean Payton and this front office operate, you know they do not like walking into a season without a plan B. Taylor Rapp is plan B wearing a cape, and here's the part that is going to make you laugh, because it sounds like something out of a heist movie. There is a very real chance the Broncos release Taylor Rapp after final roster cuts, only to immediately sign him right back to the practice squad because he is what's called a vested veteran, which gives Denver the flexibility to shuffle him on and off the active roster up to 3 separate times throughout the season without him ever hitting the open market for another team to swoop in. It is basically NFL roster wizardry. It's like putting your favorite snacks on the top shelf so your kids can't get to them. Except in this case, the snack is a Super Bowl champion safety and the kids are 29 other desperate NFL teams. Sneaky, sneaky Broncos. Now let's pivot, because Broncos country, the safety room isn't the only thing cooking at training camp. Denver's rookie running back Jonah Coleman has been an absolute revelation, to the point where fellow running back Tyler Beatty might not even make the active roster anymore because Coleman has simply taken the job. It only took him 14 total preseason snaps for the coaching staff to look at each other and go, yeah, we're good, he's the guy. That is the kind of instant impact you dream about from a rookie, and if you thought MGD flashbacks were a stretch before, camp reports say this kid runs with the same violent burst that made Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew nightmares for opposing linebackers. Book it, Broncos country. Jonah Coleman is must-watch television this season. But let's talk receivers, because if you thought the safety room was crowded, wait until you hear about this wide receiver group, because Denver just might have the most must-watch offense in franchise history. The Broncos went out and traded for Miami's Jalen Waddle, a legitimate game-changing burner who has reportedly been torching the Denver secondary daily at camp, including hauling in a jaw-dropping deep shot from quarterback Bo Nix that had onlookers reaching for their binoculars just to believe what they were seeing. Pair Waddle with Courtland Sutton, and suddenly you have a 1-2 punch that this franchise has not had since the Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders glory days. Football minds around the building believe both Sutton and Waddle have a real shot at each topping 1,000 yards receiving this season, and if that happens, Denver might have not 1 but 2,000-yard wideouts on the same roster for the first time ever. That's not a rebuilding team. Broncos country, that's a team that means business. And don't sleep on second-year receiver Pat Bryant, because while everybody's been fixated on the flashy new additions, Bryant has quietly been the most consistent playmaker at every single practice. This isn't a one-day camp hype wonder. This is a receiver who shows up and produces daily, selling every route like he's going deep before snapping it back for the sure-handed comeback grab. With defenses forced to key in on Sutton and Waddle, Bryant is set up to feast on single coverage all season long, and tight end Evan Engram figures to round out the top 4 in the passing game, giving Bo Nix arguably the deepest, most dangerous group of pass catchers he has ever had in his career. Add in running back R.J. Harvey and returning speedster Marvin Mims, and Denver's offensive coordinators genuinely have too many good options, which, let's be honest, is the kind of problem every fan base in America wishes they had. Speaking of Bo Nix, here's a stat that should make you nervous if you're an opposing defensive coordinator. Last season, Nix lost roughly 400 yards due to drops, and his receivers combined for the second most drops in the entire NFL. That is a brutal number. But according to everybody watching training camp closely this summer, that problem has all but vanished. New wide receivers coach Ronald Curry has reportedly overhauled how these guys catch the football, drilling proper hand technique into every single pass catcher on the roster, and the early returns could not be more encouraging. Fewer drops means more completions means more points, and more points means, well, Broncos country, you do the math. Buy your Super Bowl tickets now, or at least bookmark the page, because this offense is trending in a very scary direction for the rest of the AFC. Now let's flip over to the defensive line, because there has been a legitimate changing of the guard happening at Broncos training camp this summer, and it is 100% by design. Everybody spent the offseason wondering how in the world Denver was going to replace the pressure that pass rusher John Franklin Myers provided last season after he departed in free agency. Turns out the front office had a plan all along, and that plan's name is Eyoma Uwazurike. After battling back from a rocky rookie season and a lengthy suspension, Uwazurike has reportedly become an absolute problem in training camp one-on-one drills, described by teammates as flat-out unblockable, even against double teams. He's lining up all over the front, creating penetration everywhere he goes, and honestly, Broncos country, this might be one of the best redemption stories in the entire NFL this year. The kid clawed his way back from the brink, and now he might be Denver's next breakout pass rusher. He's not doing it alone either. Veteran Malcolm Roach is primed for an expanded role, and rookie defensive lineman Taylor Rapp has been turning heads with elite first-step quickness that's already creating chaos in the backfield during camp drills. He'll add strength as he develops, but that get-off is the kind of trait that cannot be taught, and defensive coordinator Vance Joseph is reportedly deploying a full committee approach up front, mixing and matching Uwazurike, Roach, Onyedin, and third-round pick Sa'ibion Jones into a rotation that could be downright terrifying come the regular season. And here's the kicker, folks. What you're seeing on the preseason broadcasts is the vanilla version. Denver's coaching staff is intentionally holding back their real blitz packages and defensive stunts so that opposing teams like Kansas City don't get a scouting report handed to them for free. In practice, though, sources say this defense is unleashing twists, loops, and disguised pressures that are absolutely wrecking the offense daily. If the base defense already made Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa look pedestrian in a preseason setting, just imagine what the full playbook looks like in Week 1. Let's not forget the offensive line either, because rookie guard KJ Casey out of Boise State has been quietly putting together one of the most impressive camps of anybody on this roster. This kid has been getting consistent reps at guard, showing off tight hand placement, active footwork, and the kind of strength that makes evaluators sit up straight. With veteran left guard Ben Powers not guaranteed to be back next season, KJ Casey looks like a legitimate heir apparent. And don't be shocked if this time next year we're talking about him as Denver's full-time starter. And keep an eye on rookie linebacker Red Murdoch, too, who has reportedly already taken command of the defensive huddle, relaying calls and checks like a seasoned pro, even if the coaching staff wants him to trust his instincts a little faster and play instead of overthink. So here's the big question heading into the final stretch of the preseason. Broncos country. Who gets cut? Because these roster decisions are brutal, and somebody who deserves a spot is going to be left off that 53-man roster. Word around camp is Denver might not even keep 3 quarterbacks on the active roster, trusting their QB2 situation enough to roll with just 2 behind Bo Nix. There's also chatter that beloved special teamer J.L. Skinner could be squeezed out purely due to a numbers crunch at safety, not because of a lack of production, and that stings, because this kid has balled out all camp. And remember Taylor Rapp? Don't be shocked, Broncos country, if he's one of the surprise cuts, only to be immediately re-signed to the practice squad days later as part of that sneaky vested veteran roster trick we talked about earlier. Chess, not checkers, people. This front office is playing chess. So there you have it, Broncos country. A Super Bowl champion just walked through the doors in Denver. A rookie running back is stealing jobs left and right. A former suspended defensive lineman is turning into the next great pass rusher. And this offense might just have the deepest, most explosive group of playmakers this franchise has ever assembled. If that doesn't get your blood pumping heading into the regular season, I genuinely do not know what will. This team is loaded, this team is dangerous, and this team is coming for the AFC West, and honestly, coming for a whole lot more than that. Now listen, I need your help. We are 350 subscribers away from 1,000, and every single like, every single comment, and every single subscribe gets us closer to that milestone. So if this video got you fired up, if you learned something new, or if you just enjoyed hanging out with me for the last few minutes, do me a favor and smash that like button, drop a comment telling me who you think makes the biggest impact this season, and hit subscribe so you never miss another Broncos breakdown. Broncos country, thank you for riding with me. This is Broncos, and I will see you in the next one.